Good morning, forms 2 to 4. I hope you had a good weekend and enjoyed the beginning of the week. We know it's going to be sort of raining, maybe a little bit miserable weather towards the end of the week, so you may not be able to get out in your garden or the space you've been using to do some of the skills and activities we've been teaching you. So what we thought we'd do is sort of transfer some core skills that are going to be really useful for some of the lessons we've already done and some of the lessons to come that you can do indoors. So here is the first one. So the first activity or core skill I'm going to try and get you to attempt is 10 keepy uppies on your tennis racket. So rather than the hammer grip that we had last week, because that would be a bit uncomfortable, we're going to have the racket nice and flat like so, and we're just going to place our hand directly down onto the racket and grip it like a frying pan. If you haven't got a tennis racket, use a frying pan. From here, I'm going to try and attempt to do 10 of the ball bouncing off my racket into the air and landing on my racket again. If it lands on the floor, I'm going to pick it up and start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the first one. Have a go at that. If you drop it, don't worry, start again, have a little practice, take your time, make sure you're not hitting it really hard because it'd be really difficult to catch. Make sure you're just doing nice, soft hits so it's easy for you to keep an eye on. And like I am, you might have to move around to keep the ball in the middle of your racket. Okay, so I did that with my strong hand to start with. So I did it with my right hand. If you're left-handed, obviously do it with your left hand. And this is now your weaker hand, so your left hand. I'm not very ambidextrous, which means I'm not very good at using my left hand. So this is a really good skill for me to practice, especially when we come to those sorts of backhand movements or backhand motions like that, should I do, where the left hand is really the dominant hand. So we're going to try the same thing we just did with the right hand, but with the left hand. So 10 keepy uppies with a tennis racket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Have a go at that. Again, if you drop it, don't worry, pick it up, start again. Okay, so now I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm back to my strong hand. If you really want to test your hand, test yourself, you can do this in your weakest hand, or my left hand, for example. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to do one keepy up on my with the racket as it was. I was holding it, and then I'm going to twist the racket round and catch it. So I should be flipping my racket round from side to side. See, I'm already having to move, so you can tell this is more difficult. And I want to see how many you can do swapping the racket around like this before you drop the ball. Notice I'm keeping my eye on the ball the whole time and watching it all the way up and all the way down. Have a go at that. Once you've mastered that and you're flipping like this, I want you to come up with a little sequence of flipping these over. Maybe you can change hand, really test yourself with how best you can, what you can do with your racket and your tennis ball or your saucepan. Okay, so obviously during the coronavirus outbreak, we're trying not to touch things that have been on the floor. My ball has landed on the floor and I don't want to use my hand to pick it up. You're only allowed to use your racket to pick the ball up. Before I show you, I'd like you to have a go at seeing if you can work out how you can pick that ball up just using your racket or not your hand. Okay, so now you've had a go, I'm going to show you 2 ways, and then you can either send me in the ways that you tried if they're different, and then I'm going to ask you to go and have a go at these 2 and try and create your own. So the first one is, all I'm going to do is approach the ball with my racket foot, and I'm just going to bounce the ball straight on the floor, trying to use the springiest part of my racket. Hopefully you've worked that out now through those keepy uppies, and I'm going to bounce it twice on the floor and then catch it on my racket. Like so. That's number 1. Second way, and a bit more advanced, so that's probably the easiest way, so practice that a couple of times first. And then the second way, I'm going to come up and put the outside of my racket foot to the ball. I'm going to clamp the ball in between my foot and the racket. I'm going to pick it up, bounce it on the floor and catch it on my racket. So have a go at those 2. So obviously the easier one is bouncing it off the floor like that, and the more advanced is picking it up with your foot and your racket and catching it like that. Have a go at those 2, and then I want you to try and come up with your own way and your most exciting way of picking the ball up. Give it a video and send it in to me. I can't wait to see it.